a great fighter.
You think he's a great fighter? But what do they think? What do you think about them comparing him to you? I mean, you're a legend, my friend.
Well, he'll be one too if he keeps fighting.
Oh, okay.
Why I think that is I've never seen anyone who was as big as this kid move as well as he does. For you to be that big, like 6'5", 250 pounds at only 20 years old, to move that well on your feet.
Talents are so crazy, especially at this age, okay? It is so, what is he, 20, 21? And you know, he's starting to get compared to Mike Tyson as far as his trajectory.
Mike Tyson spoke highly of Moses Itauma, praising him as a fighter who stands out from today's generation. Unlike many modern boxers, Tyson noted, Itauma carries a raw hunger, relentless focus, and a determination that truly defines a champion. He stressed that lasting greatness comes from consistency, discipline, and the ability to accept setbacks with dignity. With these traits, Itauma is not only making waves in the heavyweight division, but is also on a clear path to rise above his peers and cement his legacy as a future legend of the sport.
This is the thing. It has nothing to do with you losing. It depends on how you lose. You lose spectacularly, hey, they're going to always use you. Depends on how you lose. You can lose and win at the same time.
Yeah, your stock can go up.
Yeah.
Some people be like, "Oh, you undefeated. You don't know. You don't understand." It's like, no, I do understand.
Yes, you do understand.
I came out on top, but I took the risk, and I had some close ones. But I also remember my last loss and how that made me feel, which made me not want to, lose again. And I just think that, given the climate of the game now with the social, like, you get crucified in boxing if you lose a fight.
Because the people that watch boxing now don't understand boxing. They look at it from a physical perspective.
I agree with that.
They don't understand it at all.
Yeah. Man, Cuss is grooming you and prepping you. And I saw a quote from him that thing almost brought me to tears. He said, at his age, he said, how do you stay alive? What's your motivation? He said, I'm alive because Mike gives me hope to stay alive. I have a reason with Mike here.
Ariel Helwani, one of the most respected figures in combat sports media, has praised Moses Itauma for accomplishing what very few have at such a young age. At just 20, Itauma is already regarded as one of the most exciting heavyweight prospects in the world. Helwani even suggested that Itauma has a real chance of breaking Mike Tyson's long-standing record as the youngest heavyweight champion, a milestone that has long symbolized youthful greatness in boxing. This isn't just hype. It's grounded in Itauma's steady rise, flawless performances, and the reputation he continues to build within the sport. When seasoned veterans and analysts recognize his potential, it proves that Itauma's journey is not only about promise, but about real progress. The fact that some believe he could surpass Tyson's record is a clear sign of how seriously the boxing world values his talent.
Outside the boxing, but he's back. He's got his new fight is March the 1st in Bournemouth. So yeah, he's rolling the dice again. He's just had a little boy, so he took some time out.
Okay, when did you start to really feel like this could be a career, that you had a special gift? How soon into that, training journey did you start to realize, like, oh wow, this is what they're saying about me is different?
It's after I sparred Lawrence Okoli. My trainer at the time, he messaged me saying that what you've done today was crazy, unbelievable. If you stick at it, you can be one of the greatest boxers to live, heavyweight. Sorry, and then I was like, okay, I'm not bad, but at this point, I'm a 2-time European gold medalist, 2-time national champion, but I still didn't think I was like,
What makes Moses Itauma stand out from his peers is not just his youth, but the remarkable way he moves inside the ring. Analysts reviewing his recent fights have highlighted his rare blend of speed and agility, qualities not often seen in the heavyweight division. Typically, heavyweights are praised for their power and size, rather than quick footwork or sharp reflexes. Itauma, however, defies that expectation at only 20 years old. He already demonstrates fluid movement more associated with lighter weight classes. His footwork enables him to cut angles with precision, slip punches, and launch devastating counters that leave opponents unsettled. The striking contrast between his physical size and his athletic mobility is what excites experts most. It shows that Itauma is far more than a heavy hitter. He is shaping up to be a complete fighter, one capable of outmaneuvering even the most experienced heavyweights.
Why I think that is I've never seen anyone who was as big as this kid move as well as he does. For you to be that big, like 6'5", 250 pounds at only 20 years old, to move that well on your feet, to have that level of speed and power, when have we ever seen that before in the history of boxing? Ever. In the last 30 years even. You look at Lennox Lewis, he didn't fucking move like that for the weight. No way. As good as he was, he didn't move like that. AJ, hell of an athlete, he didn't move like that. Tyson Fury was a good mover for a big bloke. He doesn't move like that. He hasn't got that explosive speed. We're witnessing something so fucking special here. This is the most exciting combat sports athlete, any sport, MMA, boxing, whatever you want to talk about, in the world. And he's 20 years old. It's unbelievable. And I get that a lot of people have doubted him because it's hard to believe that guys who you've respected for the last 15 years can get in a boxing ring against a 20-year-old kid and get the shit beaten out of them. And that emotional connection will make you want to, oh, maybe this will happen. Oh, Dillian White, he's training hard, he looks in shape. No. It doesn't matter what version of Dillian White shows up. Dillian White could go back through his entire fucking career and pick any version of himself out. You're getting smoked by Moses Itauma because the level difference, it's fucking huge. That's why I only gave him 2 rounds. And I respect Dillian White. I think he is a tough guy. He has had a good career. But just look at the way Dillian White moves, man. And look at the way Moses Itauma moves. This was a really easy one to predict, actually. People are comparing him to Mike Tyson. It's
Showbiz The Adults comparison highlights the true significance of Moses Itauma's performance against Dillian White. Much like the doubts that once surrounded Mike Tyson before he demolished Michael Spinks in under 2 minutes, many question whether Itauma would prepare for an opponent of White's caliber. The fight delivered a decisive answer. Itauma displayed frightening power, calm composure, and ruthless finishing ability, instantly drawing parallels to Tyson's own breakthrough moment. The storyline felt nearly identical. A young fighter under microscope, silencing critics in the most emphatic way possible. This knockout wasn't just another victory. It was a statement that demanded respect and reshaped the entire conversation about Itauma's future in the heavyweight division.
Experience bout and stuff like that. And, you know, we never see Moses in this situation, something like that. And I responded by saying, this is going to be Mike Tyson Spinks. Remember that?
Moses will get hit so hard the first. He going to be gun shy for the rest of the fight, like Ryan versus Rolly. It's different level. He ain't been tested. That's what he said about. I remember those exact words when Iron Mike Tyson fought Michael Spinks. They said Mike Tyson never been in a ring with somebody of the caliber of Spinks. I'll never forget. So let's see.
And damn it, how identical this shit is just mind-blowing. Check this out.
When comparisons to Mike Tyson first began circling around Moses Itauma, they carried both honor and pressure. Tyson is one of the most legendary heavyweights of all time, known for his ferocity and brilliance at a young age. But Itauma has made it clear he doesn't aim to be the next Tyson. Instead, his focus is on building his own identity and legacy in the sport. Similar to Anthony Joshua and other modern greats who forge their own unique paths, this outlook speaks volumes about Itauma's maturity. At only 20 years old, he recognizes that true greatness comes not from imitation, but from creating a name that stands independently. His determination to be remembered as Moses Itauma, not simply a reflection of Tyson, shows a mindset that separates those destined for lasting glory from those who crumble under the weight of comparisons.
Good thing though, when people are talking about you and people are, talking about you being maybe the next youngest world heavyweight champion after Mike Tyson, trying to break that record. You're 19 years of age now, talking about your last performance. Marius Wack, big guy, strong guy, been in there, seen it, done it, boxed everyone, was expected to give you rounds. You went in there and took him apart in 2, right? So them expectations are obviously going to be talked about. People are obviously going to do that and compare you with the likes of Mike Tyson, and that is a good thing. And I think the champions feed off that sort of stuff, and that's what you do. You don't let the pressure get you, but you deliver in your performances.
Yeah, like do you know what? I've kind of put myself with kind of making the comparison with me and Mike Tyson with completely different styles or whatnot, but I never really wanted to compare to no one. I kind of want to set my own path. Like I said multiple times, like obviously Joshua, Fury, Usyk, Tyson, all them, they've set their own path, so I want to set my own.
I think it's the age thing, isn't it? With the Mike Tyson thing, where he become the youngest world heavyweight champion, 20 years of age and X amount of months, whatever that was. You're 19. You know, you put yourself in a position now that Frank Warren was on here talking about you boxing Fabio Wardley, Fraser Clark. He said tomorrow, now. That's the sort of level he sees you at.
Of course. If you look at my last fight, obviously that's where they will get their confidence.
A day Oladipo voiced a sentiment that has struck a chord across the boxing community. Not every fighter needs countless tests to prove their worth. Some display championship qualities well before they ever wear a belt. Moses Adama's dominant performance against Dillian White was exactly that kind of defining moment. Rather than relying on a drawn-out war to showcase his skills, Adama proved in one night that he carries the tools of a future champion. His precision, speed, timing, and composure spoke louder than any marathon battle could. Oladipo's perspective underscores how Adama has changed the narrative, turning skeptics into believers and showing that, at times, greatness doesn't need explanation. It reveals itself in the clarity of a single performance.
He is a heavyweight that moves like a lightweight. Sorry, a light heavyweight. Certainly doesn't move like a lightweight, but a light heavyweight. He just darts in and out so quickly. Like, nothing about him physically looks 240 pounds. Bear in mind, that's the same weight as Daniel Dubois. He's the same height. It's only 10 pounds less than AJ. It's the same height as Dillian White. I'm sorry, same weight as Dillian White. But you look at his frame, he doesn't look that heavy. It's almost like he's very, I don't know, maybe a lot of that weight's in his legs, but he seems to move and glide around the ring so freely. So yeah, look, I'm very excited about him. I thought that if I watched it again, because obviously I made the video yesterday immediately after watching the fight, so I was very high. And I thought, okay, let me watch it again and maybe calm down a little bit. If anything, I've got higher. If anything, I've gone higher. I think he's incredible. I was at the airport with Lee Wood. And Lee Wood, obviously trained by Ben Davison. Lee Wood sees him train all the time.
Despite the decisiveness of Moses Itauma's victory, some detractors have tried to downplay the achievement by pointing to rumors of a Dillian White injury. Analysts, however, have quickly dismissed this narrative, noting that White appeared healthy, composed, and fully prepared during his ring walk. To suggest that the outcome was anything other than a product of Itauma's skill and power diminishes the courage and execution he displayed. This reflects a familiar pattern in boxing. When a young fighter rises rapidly, critics often look for excuses to discredit their success. Yet Itauma's performance, marked by strength, timing, and fearlessness, left little doubt about his legitimacy. The debate over injuries only highlights how difficult it can be for emerging stars to receive full credit, but in this case, Itauma's dominant display spoke for itself.
Always and often rumors after a fight when a fighter gets blown out there early that there's some kind of injury. But what really intrigued me building up to this fight, and on the live stream, people who were seeing me, I was kind of confused by it, was why this has become a 10-rounder suddenly. I thought this was a 12-round fight. It was for various international belts and all that kind of stuff. I didn't see any reason why this wouldn't be a 12-rounder, especially when it's a pay-per-view main event. And I assumed that the reduction to 10 rounds indicated that there may have been an injury to Itauma with him being the A side, but then seeing the fact that Dillian White walked second to the ring tells me he maybe had a bit more negotiating power in this than I first thought, which then leads me to believe that potentially this rumor of him having an injury is actually true, and he wanted to reduce it to 10 rounds because of some sort of pre-fight issue. Now look, again, we don't really know if there was an issue with White, but he did look a bit sort of tender and he walked to the ring somewhat gingerly. I didn't read anything into that because I wasn't sure if he was just relaxed. But look, some people are saying he was injured. Sonny Edwards has posted that on Instagram. Sonny Edwards is obviously someone more in the know than I will ever be in terms of having his finger on the button, hearing rumors and all that kind of stuff. So I'm inclined to believe there may be some truth to it. But at the same time, once again, I want to reiterate, I always predicted Itauma to win this fight. I just didn't think he'd do it as quickly as he did. This might explain why Dillian White couldn't even last a few rounds. But at the same time, when I watch back those tactical details that I just showed you, that's stuff Dillian White's always done. That's nothing to do with a leg injury. And I fully believe that Itauma's work in there was smart. It was an executed game plan. And would a Dillian White with a leg injury have behaved any differently? Or sorry, with or without a leg injury behaved any differently? I don't think so. I think that the issue with White is the reason he couldn't take him rounds. And I texted Jamie, me and Jamie were texting afterwards.
The words of Mark Tibbs, Dillian White's former trainer, carry immense weight in the boxing world. For someone with his depth of experience to admit he was left speechless by a knockout highlights just how stunning the result truly was. Tibbs' reaction perfectly mirrored the shock many fans felt as they watched Moses Itauma dismantle White in the very first round. This was never supposed to be the script. White was expected to serve as a tough test, a benchmark to measure Itauma's progress. Instead, The fight turned into a showcase of Itauma's raw power, precision, and killer instinct. For a trainer as seasoned as Tibbs to openly acknowledge the magnitude of the knockout is rare, and it only further validates Itauma's status as one of the brightest rising stars in boxing.
It was really, mate. It was what we all expected. Really, was hoping we could get 4 or 5 rounds out, see where Moses was at. But he's that good. He's that good. I thought Dillian shaped up well. I thought he was in fantastic nick. But when you're at your twilight years and you're working on your weight, etc., it's taxing. It's taxing on yourself. And I'm pretty sure he had to make some pains. I'm not judging him, but you know, he's trained in a hell of a lot of training camps, and he's very, very diligent in his training. But it just, you know, it's like grandfather time for him, if you get me. So it was a difficult task, and we all knew that anyway. But it shows that Moses is been emotionally tested, and obviously not. He's still got to be built physically. You know, still got to be built physically against someone that's going to give him rounds. So there's the problem. He's that good. He's a phenomenal mover for a heavyweight. Phenomenal. Carries his power with his movement for a heavyweight. And
while Moses Adama's victory drew widespread praise, Sam Jones offered a more cautious perspective. He noted that the fight did not answer key questions about Adama's chin, stamina, or ability to endure deep rounds under pressure. The bout ended too quickly to reveal how he might respond to sustained adversity. From this angle, the win over Dillian White, though spectacular, left many of the same uncertainties analysts had beforehand. This viewpoint is valuable because it balances excitement with realism. True greatness isn't defined in a single night, no matter how dominant the performance. Future challenges will need to test and prove these unanswered aspects of Adama's game. Still, what remains undeniable is that he has firmly established himself as the heavyweight division's man to watch.
It's like he didn't take away. It doesn't really ask the questions. We don't know anything new about Moses. We know he's special. We know he's fast. We know he can punch. We know he's just. He looks the real deal, doesn't he? But it didn't answer any questions. It was pretty much one of the easiest fights of his career, if not the easiest fight of his career last night.
Were you disappointed in Dillian's performance at all?
No, because look, he's 37, 38. I mean, I tweeted on the ring walk, he don't look at the races. There was no wolf howl. There was no, like, you know what I mean? Dillian's aggressive. Dillian's an aggressive guy. Like, I've not felt that. I felt like it's been a fed up Dillian. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was not the Dillian White we're used to seeing. But look, it's hard because you don't want to downplay Moses' performance, because look, Moses has to go in there and beat who's put in front of him. The matchmaking was perfect. It's a great scalp. He's 20 years old. Deserves all the credit in the world. But again, we have to judge on what we saw on Dillian's side, and it wasn't at the races.
We're hearing that he went into the ring with a possible injury. Is there any that you heard on your end?
Yeah, I've heard it all week. But look.
That wraps up today's video. Stay tuned for more, and until next time,